If your baby only falls asleep when rocked and wakes up crying the second you stop, you're not alone. But here's the truth. Rocking may be the very reason your child isn't sleeping through the night. In this video, we break down why motion-based sleep associations are sabotaging your baby's rest, the science behind independent sleep skills, and the gentle method to help your baby sleep deeper and longer, without cry it out or sleepless nights. Let me start by saying something that might be controversial. Rocking your baby to sleep isn't inherently bad. In fact, it's one of the most natural, beautiful ways to comfort and connect with your infant. The gentle motion, the closeness, the rhythm, it mimics the experience they had in the womb. So if you're rocking your baby and feeling guilty about it, stop. There's nothing wrong with rocking your baby. But, and this is important, if rocking is the only way your baby can fall asleep, and if they wake up every sleep cycle needing to be rocked back to sleep, and if you're exhausted, frustrated, and desperate for a solution, then we need to talk about what's actually happening and how to gently shift it. Here's what most parents don't understand about sleep. Falling asleep is a learned skill. Just like learning to self-soothe, learning to eat, learning to walk, babies have to learn how to fall asleep independently. And when we always rock them to sleep, we're accidentally preventing them from learning that skill. Think about it this way. Imagine you fall asleep every night in your bed, but every time you naturally stir during the night, which all humans do between sleep cycles, you wake up on the couch. You'd be startled, disoriented, and you'd have trouble falling back asleep, right? That's exactly what's happening to your baby when they fall asleep being rocked in your arms and wake up alone in their crib. Before we go any further, hit that subscribe button because we're diving deep into baby sleep science today, and I'm giving you a step-by-step plan you can actually implement starting tonight. And don't forget to comment your experience here. I read and answer everybody. So let's talk about what's really going on. Sleep happens in cycles. For babies, these cycles are about 40 to 60 minutes long. At the end of each cycle, everyone, babies and adults, briefly rouse. Adults typically roll over and go back to sleep without even remembering it. But babies, if the conditions they fell asleep in aren't present when they rouse, they fully wake up and cry for help recreating those conditions. If your baby fell asleep being rocked, they need rocking to fall back asleep. If they fell asleep nursing, they need nursing. If they fell asleep with a pacifier, they need the pacifier. These are called sleep associations, and some are more problematic than others. Let's be clear about something. Not all sleep associations are bad. A lovey, a sleep sack, white noise, a dark room. These are positive sleep associations because they're consistent and the baby doesn't need you to recreate them. They're present for the entire night. But rocking, nursing, bouncing, holding, these require your active participation, and that's where exhaustion sets in. Here's the science behind why this matters. Babies need consolidated sleep to develop properly. Their brains are doing incredible work during sleep, processing everything they learned that day, consolidating memories, releasing growth hormones, building neural connections. When sleep is constantly fragmented by waking every 40 to 60 minutes, they're not getting the deep, restorative sleep their developing brains desperately need. And neither are you. Parental sleep deprivation isn't just exhausting. It's dangerous. It affects your mental health, your physical health, your relationship with your partner, and yes, your ability to be the patient, present parent you want to be. You can't pour from an empty cup, and chronic sleep deprivation absolutely empties your cup. So what's the solution? How do you help your baby learn to fall asleep independently, without hours of crying, without trauma, without feeling like you're abandoning them? The answer is gradual, gentle teaching. You're not taking away comfort. You're teaching them a skill while still being responsive and supportive. First, let's talk about timing because this matters enormously. If your baby is under 4 months old, motion-based sleep is actually developmentally appropriate. Their nervous systems are still immature. They need that soothing. Don't worry about creating bad habits in those early months. Focus on survival and connection. But around 4 to 6 months, babies become capable of learning independent sleep skills, and that's when you can start this process. Here's the method, and I want you to pay close attention because the details matter. It's called the fading method, and it works by gradually reducing your involvement in the falling asleep process over time. You're not going cold turkey. You're not leaving them to cry. You're slowly teaching them the skill while still being present and reassuring. Start with your normal bedtime routine: bath, pajamas, book, whatever works for your family. Consistency signals to their brain that sleep is coming. Then, instead of rocking them all the way to sleep, rock them until they're drowsy but still awake. You'll know they're drowsy when their eyes are heavy, their body is relaxed, but they're not fully asleep yet. Then, and this is the key moment, put them down in their crib while they're still awake. I know this feels scary. I know you're thinking they'll immediately cry. And they might. But stay with me, because this is where your presence matters. Stay right there. Put your hand on their chest or tummy. Use a soothing voice. Shh, you're okay. Mommy's right here. You're not abandoning them. You're teaching them that they're safe in their crib, that you're nearby, and that they can fall asleep without motion. If they cry, pick them up, soothe them, rock them until they're calm, not asleep, just calm, and try again. Put them down drowsy but awake. This might happen 5 times the first night, maybe 10. That's okay. You're teaching, not punishing. Every time you put them down awake, they're getting tiny moments of practice. Over the next several nights, gradually reduce how much rocking you do before putting them down. Night 1, rock until very drowsy. Night 3, rock until moderately drowsy. Night 5, rock for just a few minutes while they're still quite alert. You're fading out the motion gradually while increasing their ability to do the final transition to sleep on their own. Here's what's crucial during this process: consistency. Your baby's brain is learning a new pattern, and learning requires repetition and predictability. If you rock them all the way to sleep one night because you're tired or because they seem particularly fussy, you're essentially hitting the reset button. I know that's hard to hear, especially at 2 in the morning when you're exhausted, but consistency is what makes this work. Now let's talk about what to do when they wake up in the middle of the night, because that's where most parents struggle. When your baby wakes between sleep cycles, and they will, because all humans do, go to them. Don't let them cry for extended periods. But here's the key: don't immediately recreate the old sleep association. Try the least intrusive intervention first. Sometimes just your voice from the doorway is enough. Mommy's here. You're okay. Time to sleep. If that doesn't work after a minute or so, go to the crib. Place your hand on them, shush them, reassure them with your presence. If they're still escalating, pick them up, calm them down, but put them back down before they're fully asleep. You're showing them, I hear you, I'm here, I will always respond to you, and I also trust that you can do this hard thing. That's the message, not figure it out alone, not I'm going to do it all for you, but I'm here to support you while you learn this skill. Let me address something important. This is not sleep training in the traditional cry it out sense. I'm not asking you to close the door and walk away while your baby screams. I'm not suggesting you ignore their cries or let them become hysterical. What I'm describing is responsive settling. You're present, you're supportive. You're just gradually teaching them that they have the ability to fall asleep without constant motion. Will there be some crying? Probably yes. Learning new skills is frustrating for babies. Think about when they're learning to crawl or walk. They get frustrated, they might cry, but we don't pick them up and do it for them. We encourage them. We cheer them on, we spot them so they don't get hurt, but we let them practice. Sleep is the same. The difference between this approach and cry it out is your presence and responsiveness. You're not ignoring distress. You're acknowledging it, comforting it, and gently encouraging them through it. There's a massive difference between you need to figure this out alone and I'm here with you while you learn something new. Here's what the research tells us. Babies who learn independent sleep skills don't just sleep better. They actually show better emotional regulation during the day, longer attention spans, and more secure attachment. That last one surprises people. They assume that responding less at night damages attachment, but the opposite is true. When you're well-rested, you're a better parent during the day. And when your baby learns they can handle something challenging with your support, it builds confidence and security. Now let's talk about the hidden reason rocking makes sleep worse that nobody discusses: sleep association conditioning. Every time your baby falls asleep while being rocked, their brain creates a stronger association between motion and sleep. It's classical conditioning, the same principle behind Pavlov's dogs. After weeks or months of this pattern, the association becomes so strong that falling asleep without motion feels impossible to them. This is why a problem often gets worse over time rather than better. Parents think they'll outgrow it, but actually, the longer the association exists, the stronger it becomes. A 6-month-old who's been rocked to sleep since birth has a much stronger sleep association than a 3-month-old. This is why starting this process around 4 to 6 months, when they're capable but the associations aren't yet deeply ingrained, tends to be easier. But here's the good news. Even if your baby is older, 9 months, 12 months, even toddler age, you can still teach independent sleep skills. It just might take a bit longer because you're undoing a more established pattern. The approach is the same. You just need more patience and consistency. Let me give you some troubleshooting tips because I know exactly where parents get stuck with this process. The first common issue: the baby seems fine when you first put them down drowsy, but then 15 minutes later they're crying. This is normal. They've entered the first light sleep phase and are trying to transition to deeper sleep. This is actually the critical learning moment. Go to them. Reassure them with your presence and your voice, but resist picking them up immediately. Give them a chance to work through it with your support. The second issue: your baby falls asleep independently at bedtime, but still wakes constantly through the night. This usually means one of two things. Either they're still hungry and genuinely need a night feeding, which is totally normal for younger babies, or they've learned that nighttime wake-ups mean they get picked up and rocked, so the association still exists for night wakings, even though bedtime improved. If it's hunger, feed them. You'll know it's genuine hunger if they take a full feeding and go right back to sleep afterward. But if they're just comfort nursing or taking an ounce and then want to be rocked, that's a sleep association issue, not a hunger issue. Apply the same gradual approach to night wakings that you used at bedtime. The third issue: everything was going great and then suddenly your baby is waking up constantly again. This is called a sleep regression, and it usually coincides with developmental leaps, learning to roll, crawl, pull up, walk, or major cognitive developments. During these times, babies' brains are so active that sleep gets disrupted. The key is to stay consistent with your approach. Don't revert to old sleep associations. Offer extra comfort and reassurance, but maintain the boundaries you've established. Now let's address naps, because daytime sleep is different from nighttime sleep, and many parents struggle with applying these principles to naps. Here's the truth: naps are harder. The sleep pressure isn't as strong during the day, and babies are more easily distracted. But the principles are exactly the same. Use the same gradual approach. Put them down drowsy but awake. Stay nearby to reassure. Gradually fade your presence. If naps are a complete disaster and your baby is only taking 20-minute cat naps, focus on night sleep first. Get nighttime sleep solid, and often, naps naturally improve once nighttime sleep is consolidated. Don't try to tackle everything at once. That's a recipe for exhaustion and inconsistency. Here's something else that's really important. Your partner needs to be on board. If one parent is doing the gradual approach and the other parent is still rocking to sleep, your baby will be confused and the learning process will take much longer. Sit down together, agree on the approach, and support each other through it. Maybe one parent handles the first night waking, the other handles the second. Teamwork makes this sustainable. Let's talk about what happens if you've tried all this and it's genuinely not working. First, rule out medical issues. If your baby seems in pain, is pulling at their ears, having reflux symptoms, or showing other signs of discomfort, talk to your pediatrician. Sleep issues can sometimes be caused by ear infections, reflux, allergies, or other medical problems that need to be addressed first. Second, evaluate your timing. Is your baby overtired, undertired? The wake windows matter enormously. An overtired baby has stress hormones flooding their system, making it much harder to settle. An undertired baby simply isn't ready for sleep. Look up age-appropriate wake windows and make sure you're putting your baby down at the right time. Third, assess the sleep environment. Is it dark enough? Is there white noise to mask household sounds? Is the temperature comfortable, not too hot or cold? Is their sleep sack appropriate for the season? Sometimes what seems like a sleep association problem is actually an environment problem. And here's something many parents don't consider: their own anxiety. Babies are incredibly perceptive. If you're standing over the crib, radiating anxiety and uncertainty, your baby feels that. They pick up on your stress, and it makes it harder for them to relax. This is why you need to go into this process with confidence. You're not doing something to your baby. You're teaching your baby a valuable skill that will benefit them for life. Let me share something that might help with that confidence. You are not traumatizing your baby by teaching them to sleep independently. There is zero research showing that responsive, gradual sleep teaching causes any harm to attachment or emotional development. Zero. What does cause harm is months of sleep deprivation for the entire family. Parents who are so exhausted they can't function. Relationships that are strained. Mental health that's deteriorating. You teaching your baby to sleep while staying responsive and supportive is an act of love, not neglect. You're giving them a skill that will serve them their entire life. The ability to self-soothe, to handle discomfort, to fall asleep independently. These are crucial life skills, and the earlier they learn them, the easier it is. Now let's talk about something that trips up a lot of parents: guilt. You're going to feel guilty when your baby cries during this process. You're going to second-guess yourself. You're going to wonder if you're doing the right thing. That's completely normal, and it doesn't mean you should stop. It means you love your child and you're a conscientious parent. But here's what I want you to remember when that guilt hits. Ask yourself what's more loving in the long run. Continuing to rock your baby for hours every night, becoming increasingly exhausted and resentful, potentially impacting your mental health and your relationship? Or teaching them a skill that gives everyone in the family better sleep, better health, and better quality of life during waking hours. The short-term discomfort of learning is worth the long-term benefit of the skill. You know this in other areas. You don't avoid teaching your child to use a spoon because the first attempts are messy and frustrating. You don't avoid potty training because it's challenging. Why would sleep be different? Here's another thing nobody tells you. This process will probably be harder on you than on your baby. Babies are remarkably resilient and adaptive. They learn new skills quickly when we're consistent. It's usually the parents who struggle more with the change, and that's okay. Be gentle with yourself. This is hard, but hard doesn't mean wrong. So here's your action plan, because I want you to walk away from this video knowing exactly what to do starting tonight. First, decide when you're going to start. Pick a time when you have a few days of consistency available, not the night before you travel. Not during a major life change, not when you're switching daycares. You need consistency to make this work, so choose your timing strategically. Second, get your partner on board. Have a conversation tonight. Explain what you're doing and why. Make sure you're both committed to the approach. Decide who's handling which wake-ups. Have a plan so you're not trying to make decisions at 3 in the morning when you're exhausted. Third, optimize the sleep environment. Make the room as dark as possible. Blackout curtains are worth the investment. Use white noise, a consistent droning sound that masks household noises. Make sure the temperature is comfortable, around 68 to 72 degrees. Put them in an appropriate sleep sack so they're cozy but not overheated. Fourth, establish a consistent bedtime routine if you don't have one already. Bath, pajamas, book, song, whatever works for your family, but keep it the same every night. This routine signals to your baby's brain that sleep is coming and helps them start winding down. Fifth, start with bedtime. This is when sleep pressure is strongest, so it's the easiest time to teach independent sleep. Use the gradual approach we discussed. Rock until drowsy but awake. Put them down, stay nearby to reassure. Be patient. Be consistent. Don't give up after one rough night. Sixth, track your progress. Write down what time they went to sleep, how long it took them to fall asleep, how many times they woke, how you responded, how long they took to fall back asleep. This data will help you see patterns and celebrate progress. Because when you're exhausted, it's hard to remember that things are actually improving. Seventh, practice self-compassion. You're going to have moments where you mess up, where you revert to rocking because you're tired, where you're inconsistent because you're human. That's okay. One inconsistent night doesn't ruin everything. Just recommit to the plan the next night and keep going. Eighth, give it time. Real change takes at least a week, usually 2. Don't evaluate whether it's working after 1 or 2 nights. Stick with it. Stay consistent. Trust the process. Your baby is learning, and learning takes time. And finally, remember why you're doing this. You're not doing this because you're mean or because you don't love rocking your baby. You're doing this because everyone in your family deserves good sleep. Because you deserve to be a well-rested, present parent. Because your baby deserves to learn the skill of independent sleep that will serve them for their entire life. The science is clear. Independent sleep skills benefit babies' cognitive development, emotional regulation, and long-term health. And they benefit parents' mental health, physical health, and ability to be the parents they want to be. This isn't selfish. This is one of the most loving things you can do for your entire family. So tonight, when you're rocking your baby and feeling exhausted and wondering if things will ever change, they can. They will. You have the knowledge now. You have the plan. You just need the courage to start and the consistency to follow through. Your baby is capable of learning this skill. You are capable of teaching it gently and responsively. And your entire family is worthy of the better sleep that's waiting on the other side of this process. You've got this. And remember, thousands of families have walked this path before you and come out the other side with babies who sleep independently and parents who finally feel human again. Start tonight. Stay consistent. Trust the process. Better sleep is closer than you think. And when you get there, when your baby falls asleep on their own and sleeps through multiple sleep cycles without needing you to rock them back to sleep, you're going to look back on this moment and be so grateful you didn't give up. Your future well-rested self is thanking you already.